Tuesday morning, March 15th, 2024, 7:15 a.m. I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop open and a cup of coffee cooling beside me. Same routine I'd had for 5 years since Richard died. Check the weather, read the local news, look at my bank accounts. The coffee tasted wrong. Or maybe I forgot the sugar. I couldn't remember. I clicked on the IRA account, the retirement account, the one Richard and I built together over 35 years of teaching. Me in elementary, him in high school, every paycheck, a little bit set aside, for later, for travel, for Italy, the trip we always talked about. The page loaded, account balance, $80,312. I stared at the screen, refreshed it, checked the account number at the top, right account, mine and Richard's, the one that should have had $280,000 in it. I refreshed again. Still, $80,000. My hands felt cold. The kitchen suddenly too bright. The morning sun through the window hurt my eyes. I scrolled down. Transaction history, last 30 days. 6 withdrawals. February 28th, $50,000 electronic transfer, authorized March 3rd, $40,000 electronic transfer, authorized March 7th, $35,000 electronic transfer, authorized March 10th, $30,000 electronic transfer, authorized March 12th, $25,000 electronic transfer, authorized March 14th, $20,000 electronic transfer, authorized, $200,000 gone in 2 weeks, all marked authorized by power of attorney. Michael, my son. The one I gave power of attorney to 3 years ago, just for emergencies, he'd said, just in case something happened to me, so he could help with bills, with the house, with anything I needed. I stood up. The chair scraped against the floor, too loud in the quiet house. My phone, I needed to call him, ask him what this was. There had to be an explanation, a mistake, something. I scrolled through my contacts, found his name, Michael Morrison, my boy. I pressed call. Straight to voicemail. I tried again. Voicemail. I looked at the call log on my phone. The last time Michael called me, February 27th, 2 weeks ago. The day before the first withdrawal. 2 weeks. He hadn't called in 2 weeks. I'd texted him 3 times. Hope you're doing well. Emma's birthday is coming up. Call when you can. No responses. I looked at the refrigerator. The photo held up with a magnet. Michael at his college graduation, cap and gown, that huge smile, his arm around my shoulders. Spring 2004, 20 years ago. I paid for that degree. $52,000 over 4 years. Double shifts at summer school, teaching driver's ed in the evenings, every dollar I could save. For him. So he wouldn't have loans. So he could start his life without debt. My chest felt tight. I looked back at the laptop screen. The number's still there. Still wrong. Still gone. $200,000. 35 years of teaching third graders, of saving every spare dollar, of living carefully so we'd have enough for later, for retirement, for the life Richard and I planned before he died. Gone. I grabbed my car keys from the hook by the door, my hands shaking now, not from cold, from something else, something I didn't have a name for yet. Michael's house, 20 minutes away in the next town over, the one I helped him buy. The $30,000 down payment, my money, my gift, for my son, for his family, for Emma and Jack. I needed to see him, needed to hear him explain, needed him to tell me this was all some terrible mistake, because it had to be a mistake. It had to be. The drive to Michael's house took 23 minutes. I know because I watched the clock the whole way, watched the numbers change while my mind tried to make sense of what I'd seen. $200,000. Michael. Those two things didn't fit together in my head. Michael was my careful one, the organized one, the one who helped me sort through Richard's life insurance paperwork when I could barely see through the tears, the one who sat with me at the kitchen table, going through bills, showing me how to set up automatic payments so I wouldn't forget anything. That was 5 years ago. Richard died on a Tuesday. Heart attack. No warning, just gone. 52 years of marriage, and then breakfast alone every morning. Michael came over every day that first month, brought groceries, fixed the leaky faucet I'd been nagging Richard about, set up my online banking because I'd never done it before. Richard always handled that. "Mom," Michael said one afternoon, papers spread across my kitchen table, "you should give me power of attorney, just for emergencies, so I can help if you need something and I'm not around." I remember that day. June, 3 months after the funeral. Sarah, Michael's wife, brought coffee. Emma, she was 5 then, colored at the table, drew me a picture of a flower. I still have it on my fridge. Michael pushed the papers toward me. "It's just a safety net. If something happens and you can't make decisions, I want to be able to help." It felt safe, reasonable. He's my son. Why wouldn't I trust him? I signed. 3 years ago. I gave him the key to everything I had. I pulled into Michael's driveway. His car wasn't there. The house looked quiet. Normal. A basketball hoop over the garage, Emma's bike on its side in the grass, Jack's skateboard on the porch. Before I could get out, my phone rang. Margaret, my neighbor. The one who lived next door and walked her golden retriever past my house every morning at 8 o'clock, like clockwork. "Linda," Margaret's voice, sharp, concerned. "You left your front door wide open. I saw it when Biscuit and I walked by." I looked down. I was wearing my slippers, still in my pajama pants under my jacket. I'd grabbed my keys and left. Didn't think about the door. Didn't think about anything except those numbers on the screen. "I'm okay," I said. "Not true. I'm at Michael's house." "Is everything all right?" No. Nothing was all right, but I didn't know how to say that yet, didn't know how to make the words real. "I'll call you later," I said. Hung up before she could ask more questions. Margaret was going to worry. That's what she did. Worried and brought casseroles and kept an eye on the neighborhood like she was still working at the bank where she'd spent 40 years. Retired now, like me. Widow, like me. Her husband died 7 years ago. Cancer. She understood loss. She'd noticed something wrong. Of course she had. Margaret noticed everything. I got out of the car, walked up the driveway, rang the doorbell. No answer. Rang again. The door opened. Sarah stood there. She looked terrible. Hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. No makeup. Dark circles under her eyes. Wearing sweatpants and one of Michael's old t-shirts. "Linda." Her voice flat, surprised. "What are you doing here?" "Where's Michael?" Sarah stepped back, let me in without a word. The house felt wrong. I'd been here 1,000 times. Thanksgiving dinners, birthday parties, Sunday afternoon visits. But today it felt different. Colder somehow. The kitchen sink was full of dishes. Mail scattered across the counter. Bills. I saw them. Red letters. Final notice. Past due. "Where is he, Sarah?" "I don't know." She walked to the kitchen, leaned against the counter, arms crossed. "He left Monday morning, said he had meetings all week out of town. I haven't heard from him since." Monday, 4 days ago. "Have you tried calling?" 30 times, straight to voicemail. Sarah's voice cracked. "Linda, what's going on?" I opened my phone, pulled up the bank statement, showed her the screen. She looked at it. Her face went pale. Actually pale, like all the blood left. "No," she whispered. "No, he wouldn't. $200,000, Sarah, from my retirement account. Did you know?" She shook her head, started crying. Real crying. Shoulders shaking, hands over her face. "I didn't know about that. I swear I didn't know about that." But she knew something. I could tell. I waited. Gave her time. That's what you do when someone's breaking. "The gambling," she finally said. I knew about the gambling. My chest went cold again. "What gambling?" "Sports betting, those apps, FanDuel, DraftKings. He started 2 years ago, said it was just fun, just for excitement. $20 here, 50 there. She wiped her face, looked at me, eyes red. "Last Christmas, at your house." Remember? He snapped at me over nothing. You asked if everything was okay. I remembered. Christmas dinner. Michael had been tense, short with Sarah. When she'd tried to talk to me alone in the kitchen, he'd interrupted, said they needed to leave early, the kids were tired. I'd thought it was work stress, sales quotas, the pressure of providing for a family. I told myself everyone gets stressed at the holidays. That's when I found out, Sarah said. After Christmas, he'd lost $30,000 in one weekend. $30,000. I didn't even know we had $30,000 to lose. She laughed, bitter, broken. We didn't. He took it from somewhere. I don't know where. He promised he'd stop, said he'd get help. I believed him. The room felt too small, too hot now instead of cold. Sarah, I said, I need you to tell me everything. She nodded, wiped her face again. The kids are at school. We have time. I thought about Michael, my son, the boy I raised alone after his father, Richard, came into our lives when Michael was 3. The boy I taught to ride a bike, the one who made me Mother's Day cards in crayon, the teenager who called me from college every Sunday, the man who just stole my future. I'd given him everything, not just money, everything. $52,000 for college, double shifts for 4 years, summer school teaching when my friends were at the beach, every dollar earned, every dollar saved, for his degree, for his future, $30,000 for his house down payment. That was my retirement fund, the money I was supposed to use for a new roof, for a new car when mine died. I drove my old Honda another 6 years because I gave him that money, $25,000 for his wedding. I wore the same dress to every event for a year to save money, brought bag lunches to work, cut coupons, counted pennies, $15,000 for his car when his broke down and he couldn't afford payments. I took the bus to school for 6 months, in winter, in snow, at 62 years old, $8,000 for medical bills when he was between jobs and uninsured. That was the money I was saving for Italy, for the trip Richard and I planned, the restaurant on the coast, the one Richard talked about. Total, $123,000 over 25 years. I kept a ledger, not to guilt him, not to remind him he owed me, just to remember, to see what we'd built together, what I'd sacrificed, because that's what mothers do. We sacrifice, we give, we build futures for our children. I thought I was investing, thought I was helping, thought love meant giving everything. Turns out, I was just making it easier for him to take more. Sarah poured us both coffee. Her hands shook as she set the mugs on the kitchen table. I noticed she didn't drink hers, just wrapped her hands around it like she needed the warmth. 2 years ago, she said. It started small. He'd watch the games, football mostly, then basketball, baseball, soccer, anything he could bet on. I listened. That's all I could do. Listen and try to understand how I'd miss this. At first it was just for fun, $20, $50. He'd win sometimes, lose sometimes. I thought it was harmless, like buying lottery tickets. She looked at me, eyes red, pleading for me to understand. When did it change? I asked. Last year, spring. He started betting bigger amounts, hundreds, then thousands. He'd get this look on his face when he was on his phone, intense, like nothing else existed. Sarah stood up, started pacing. The kitchen was small. She could only take 3 steps before turning around. I found out at Christmas. You remember that night, how tense he was. I nodded. Christmas dinner at my house. Turkey and mashed potatoes. Emma and Jack playing in the living room. Michael barely touched his food, kept checking his phone, snapped at Sarah when she asked him to put it away. After we left your house, I confronted him, asked what was wrong. He finally told me, said he'd lost $30,000 that weekend. $30,000, Linda, on football games. My coffee was getting cold. I still hadn't touched it. Where did he get $30,000? I don't know. He wouldn't tell me. Said he'd handle it, said he'd stop gambling, promised he'd get help. She laughed, no humor in it. I believed him because I wanted to believe him. I understood that, wanting to believe, choosing to believe because the alternative was too terrible. Has he been gambling since then? Sarah stopped pacing, looked at me. I thought he stopped. He said he deleted the apps, said he was done. But then last month, the bank called, said we were overdrawn, $2,700 overdrawn. I checked our account. Withdrawals I didn't recognize, gas station ATMs, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, cash advances from credit cards I didn't know we had. The kitchen felt smaller, hotter. I needed air but couldn't move. Did you ask him? He said it was for work expenses, said his reimbursement was delayed. I wanted to believe him. There it was again, wanting to believe, choosing to believe. Sarah, I said quietly, I think we both need to stop believing what we want to be true and start looking at what is true. She nodded, wiped her eyes. His office is upstairs. His laptop's probably still there. He left in such a hurry Monday morning. Didn't even pack a bag. I stood up. Can I look? Please, she said. I need to know. I can't do this alone anymore. The stairs creaked. I'd been up these stairs 100 times to say goodnight to the kids, to use the bathroom during parties, to help Sarah carry laundry, normal things, regular life things. Now I was climbing them to investigate my own son. Michael's office was at the end of the hall, door half open. I pushed it wider. The desk was covered in papers, sticky notes, coffee cups. His laptop sat open, screen dark. I touched the mouse. It woke up. His email was open, inbox. 237 unread messages. I scrolled. Collection agencies, overdue notices, final warnings, loan applications. Then I saw it. A printed email sitting beside the keyboard. The paper slightly crumpled, like someone had read it, crumpled it in anger, then smoothed it back out. I picked it up. Subject, loan application, denied. Dear Mr. Morrison, thank you for your application for a personal loan in the amount of $75,000. After careful review of your credit history and financial information, we regret to inform you that we cannot approve your request at this time. We note that you listed Linda Morrison as a co-signer. Our records indicate no authorized signature from Ms. Morrison. Please contact our office if you believe this is an error. The date, March 10th, 5 days ago, my name, as a co-signer, a loan for $75,000. I never signed anything, never agreed to anything. My hands started shaking again. I heard footsteps behind me, Sarah in the doorway. What is that? I showed her the paper. She read it. Her face went white again. Oh my God, Linda, I didn't know. I swear I didn't. I know, I said, because I did know. Sarah was drowning too, just in a different way. I sat down in Michael's desk chair, looked at the laptop screen, at the email inbox, at the evidence of my son's desperation laid out in 237 messages. I clicked on the browser history, didn't even think about privacy, didn't care anymore. FanDuel.com, last visited yesterday. DraftKings.com, last visited yesterday. BetCaribbean.com, last visited 2 days ago. PaydayLoansOnline.com, last visited 4 days ago. DebtConsolidationNow.com, last visited 1 week ago. He hadn't stopped. He'd never stopped. I kept scrolling. More loan applications, 7 different banks, all denied. Requests for $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, each one listing me or Sarah or both of us as co-signers. Our names, our credit, our lives. Used like tools he could borrow and break. Then I found the text messages. Open in a browser window, some service that let you text from a computer. I shouldn't have read them, but I did. Messages to Sarah from last week. Michael, I can't stop. I don't know how to stop. Michael, I tried calling the hotline again. Can't bring myself to actually go. Michael, I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose you. Michael, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. No responses from Sarah, just his messages. Sent at 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Times when normal people sleep, times when desperate people stare at phones and send messages into the dark. I heard, crying behind me, Sarah, reading over my shoulder. "He sent those last Thursday," she said. I didn't respond. I was too angry, too hurt. I thought if I ignored him, he'd figure it out. He'd get help. "Sarah," I said gently, "this isn't your fault, isn't it?" She sat down on the floor, right there in the doorway. I knew he had a problem. I knew it was bad, and I pretended it was fine. I pretended he'd stop. I pretended we were okay. Emma's face flashed in my mind. Jack's gap-toothed smile, their drawings on the fridge downstairs, the toys scattered in the living room. They had no idea their father was destroying everything. "Where are the kids today?" I asked. "School. They'll be home at 3:30. Sarah checked her watch. 2 hours. 2 hours before Innocence walked through the door asking where Daddy was and when he'd be home. "Emma keeps asking," Sarah said quietly. "Where's Daddy? Why won't he call? Is he mad at us?" My heart broke. Right there. Actually broke. Not for me. Not for my stolen money. For those 2 kids who didn't ask to be born into this. I stood up. Looked around the office one more time. Evidence everywhere. His desperation, his sickness, his choices. "I need to call my bank," I said. "Linda, wait." Sarah stood too. Can we wait one more day? Maybe he'll call. Maybe he'll come home. Maybe..." "Sarah." I kept my voice gentle, firm. "I've already waited 2 weeks. 2 weeks while he took $200,000. I can't wait anymore." She nodded, started crying again, harder now. "I'm not trying to destroy him," I said, "but I can't let him destroy me either." I walked past her, down the stairs, through the kitchen where our coffee cups still sat on the table, out the front door to my car. I sat in the driver's seat, pulled out my phone, looked up the number for First National Bank, fraud department. My finger hovered over the call button. If I pressed it, this became real, official. There would be reports, investigations, police maybe. Michael's name on documents. His life changed forever. If I didn't press it, maybe there was still time. Maybe he'd call, come home, explain, fix it somehow. But I'd already given him 2 weeks, already lost $200,000, already found the loan applications with my name, the forged co-signer papers, the evidence of more lies. How much more time did he need to destroy me completely? I pressed call. The woman at the bank fraud department asked me to hold. Elevator music played. I sat in my car outside Michael's house watching Sarah through the kitchen window. She was standing at the sink, not moving, just standing there. "Ms. Morrison." A different voice, male, older. "This is Detective Julia Chen with the Fraud Investigation Unit. I understand you're reporting unauthorized transactions." "Yes, $200,000 from my IRA account, 6 withdrawals over 2 weeks. "And you didn't authorize these transactions?" "No." "Do you know who accessed the account?" I closed my eyes. "My son. He has power of attorney." Pause on the line. "I see. Ma'am, if the person has valid power of attorney, the transactions may be legally authorized. He didn't ask me, he didn't tell me, he just took it." "I understand, but legally, can you at least look at it? Please." Another pause. "Yes, ma'am. I can open a case file, but I want to be honest with you. If the POA is valid and properly filed, there may not be much we can do from a criminal standpoint. You'd need to speak with an attorney about civil options." An attorney. The word felt heavy, final. What do I do now? "Come in today if you can. Bring any documentation you have. We'll review everything and go from there." I made an appointment for 2 o'clock. Hung up. Looked at the time. 9:45 a.m., 4 hours. I drove home. Changed out of my slippers. Got dressed like a person who wasn't falling apart. Khaki pants, blue sweater, the practical shoes I wore for parent-teacher conferences back when I taught. Armor. That's what clothes were today. Armor. Margaret was on my porch when I got back, biscuit lying at her feet. She stood up when she saw me. Linda, your door's been open for 3 hours. I know, I'm sorry, What's wrong? She stepped closer, looked at my face. Something's very wrong. And I told her, standing on my porch, all of it. The money. Michael, the gambling, the laptop, the loan applications. Margaret's face went hard. That sharp look she got. The bank manager look, the one that probably scared people who tried to pass bad checks. You need a lawyer, she said. Not the police, not yet. A lawyer first, someone who specializes in elder financial abuse. Elder abuse? The words felt strange. I wasn't being abused. My son just took some money. $200,000. My son took $200,000. That's what it's called, Margaret said gently. When someone with power of attorney uses it to steal, it's a crime, it's abuse. I sat down on the porch steps, couldn't stand anymore. Margaret sat beside me. Biscuit put his head on my lap. Heavy, warm. Dogs know when you're broken. My nephew did this, Margaret said quietly. 15 years ago. Took $40,000 from my sister. Power of attorney. She'd given it to him when she had surgery. He was supposed to pay her bills. Instead, he paid his debts. What happened? She pressed charges. He went to prison for 2 years. Hasn't spoken to her since. He's been clean 9 years now. Married, has a kid, but she lost her son the day she signed that complaint. I looked at her. Are you telling me not to do it? No. Margaret squeezed my hand. I'm telling you it's the hardest thing you'll ever do, and you need to be sure, because once you start this, you can't take it back. At 2 o'clock, I sat in a small office at First National Bank. Tracy, that was her name. The bank representative, 30-something, kind eyes, apologetic smile. She slid a folder across the desk. Your account history for the last 90 days. I opened it. 6 withdrawals. Printed right there. Dates, amounts, authorization codes. February 28th, $50,000. Authorized by POA. Electronic transfer to Offshore Gaming LLC. March 3rd, $40,000. Authorized by POA. Cash withdrawal. Branch location. ID verified. March 7th, $35,000. Authorized by POA. Electronic transfer to Bet Caribbean Holdings. March 10th, $30,000. Authorized by POA. Electronic transfer to Michael Morrison Personal Checking. March 12th, $25,000. Authorized by POA. Electronic transfer to DraftKings account. March 14th, $20,000. Authorized by POA. Cash withdrawal. Branch location. ID verified. $200,000. In black and white. Documented, authorized, legal. The office was too bright. Fluorescent lights humming overhead, the chair too hard, vinyl cold through my pants, my hands on the papers, cold too, everything cold. Tracy's voice. Ms. Morrison, I pulled the power of attorney document we have on file. It was filed 3 years ago, signed by you and notarized. It gives Michael Morrison full access to all accounts. Full access? Yes, ma'am. He can deposit, withdraw, close accounts, open new ones. It's a broad POA. We recommend limited POAs now, specific permissions. But 3 years ago, this was standard. Standard. My son could legally rob me, and it was standard. Can you stop the account? The POA is valid. The withdrawals were legal. We had no reason to question them. I looked at the papers again. At the destinations, gambling sites, his personal checking, cash withdrawals at 2 a.m. Legal doesn't mean right, I said. Tracy nodded slowly. No, ma'am, it doesn't, but we had no way to know. I took the folder. I need copies of everything. I'll have them ready in 10 minutes. I sat there while she left, alone in that small office, the papers in front of me. 35 years of teaching third graders, of grading papers at midnight, of buying supplies with my own money when the school budget ran out, of summer school sessions and evening classes and every extra dollar saved. Gone. Electronic transfers, cash withdrawals, gambling sites with names I'd never heard of. I sat in that bank office looking at those papers. 25 years of teaching. Every dollar saved. And it was just gone. Like I'd never existed at all. When I got home, I opened Michael's email. Sarah had given me the password before I left, whispered it like a confession, like she was betraying him. Maybe she was. Maybe we both were. Or maybe he betrayed us first. 18 months of emails. FanDuel welcome message. Congratulations on your new account. DraftKings promotion. Bet 100, get 100 free. Transaction confirmations. Hundreds of them. Thousands of them. Deposit $500. Result lost. Deposit $1,000. Result lost. Deposit $3,000. Result won $2,000. Net still down $2,000. Deposit $5,000. Result lost. I started counting, made a spreadsheet, date, amount bet, amount won, amount lost, 18 months of data, January through now. Total deposited, $180,000. Total won, $43,000. Net loss, $137,000. $137,000 from somewhere. Credit cards maybe, loans, my account. I didn't know where it all came from, just knew it was gone. Then I found the loan applications, 7 banks, 7 denials. Bank of America, $50,000 personal loan, denied, insufficient income. Wells Fargo, $35,000 personal loan, denied, too many recent inquiries. Chase, $20,000 personal loan, denied, debt-to-income ratio too high. Each one listing me as co-signer, each one with my name typed in, digital signature, not mine, never mine. I pulled my credit report, something I'd never done before. Margaret walked me through it on the phone. 3 websites, TransUnion, Equifax, Experian. I entered my information, social security number, address, birthday. Answered security questions about loans I'd taken out 20 years ago. The report loaded. 2 credit cards I didn't recognize. Capital One, opened 6 months ago, $15,000 limit. Current balance, $14,892. 98% utilized. Chase, opened 4 months ago, $15,000 limit. Current balance, $15,000. 100% utilized. Past due. Both applications showed my name, my address, my social security number, my income listed as $60,000 a year. False. I made $36,000. Pension plus social security. My signature on the digital applications. Not my signature. Similar but wrong. The M in Morrison too round. The L in Linda too straight. I'd taught handwriting to 3rd graders for 35 years. I knew signatures. That wasn't mine. Further down the report, hard inquiries, 7 in the last 3 months. Every time someone checks your credit, it shows up. 7 inquiries meant 7 loan applications. 7 times Michael used my name, my identity, my trust. And at the bottom of the report, an application I almost missed. Home equity line of credit. My address. $125,000 requested. Status. Denied. Reason. No existing mortgage on property. He tried to borrow against my house. The house Richard and I bought in 1987. The house I raised my kids in. The house I planned to die in. My house. He tried to take my house. I called Sarah, my voice shaking. Did you know about the credit cards? What credit cards? In my name, 2 of them, $30,000. Silence on the line, then crying. Again. Always crying now. No, she whispered. Linda, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I know. And I did know. Sarah was a victim too, just in a different way. I called Robert, my financial advisor, the one who'd managed my IRA for 10 years, helped me roll over Richard's 401k when he died, rebalance my portfolio every year, made sure I had enough for retirement. "Linda," he said, "I was going to call you. You know? I saw the withdrawals. Called your cell phone 3 times last week." Michael answered. "Said you were traveling. Out of the country. Asked me not to bother you." Michael answered my phone while I left it charging in the kitchen, while I was in the garden or at the grocery store or at book club. He'd been in my house, answering my phone, lying to my financial advisor. "I should have pushed harder," Robert said. "Should have insisted on talking to you. But the POA was valid. He had authorization. I had no legal reason to—" "I know," I said. "It's not your fault." But maybe it was. A little bit. Maybe Robert should have tried harder. Maybe the bank should have questioned 6 massive withdrawals in 2 weeks. Maybe someone should have protected me. Or maybe I should have protected myself. "Robert," I said, "I need you to write down everything. Every conversation with Michael. Every time he called. What he said. I need documentation." "For what?" "For whatever comes next." I spent the rest of the day organizing, created a folder on my computer. Evidence, Michael Morrison. Saved every email, every credit report, every bank statement. Took photos with my phone, screenshots, printed copies, 47 pages of betrayal printed on regular paper with my home printer that was running low on ink. I called Margaret around 7 p.m. "Do you know any lawyers? Elder law or criminal?" "I don't know, both maybe." "I'll send you a name. Julia Chen. She handled my sister's case. She's good, expensive, but good." "How expensive?" $300 an hour. But the first consultation is free. $300 an hour. To fight my own son, to protect what was left of my retirement, to maybe press charges against the boy I raised. I made the appointment for tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. That night I couldn't sleep, lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Richard's side still empty after 5 years. Some nights I still reached for him. Forgot for a second he was gone. Tonight I was glad he wasn't here. Glad he didn't have to see this. Didn't have to know his stepson, the boy he helped raise, had done this. At 3 in the morning, I got up, made tea, sat at the kitchen table with all my papers spread out. Bank statements, credit reports, email printouts, loan applications, phone records I'd requested from our family plan, 57 pages now, Margaret's words from this afternoon. Once you start this, you can't take it back. I looked at the papers, at the evidence, at my son's choices documented in black and white. I'd already started. The moment I called the bank, the moment I pulled those credit reports, the moment I decided I needed a lawyer, there was no going back now. Margaret called that night around 10. "Did you get hold of Julia Chen? I have an appointment tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. "Good, that's good, Linda." Pause. "How are you holding up?" I looked around my kitchen. Papers everywhere. Empty teacup. The clock showing 10:14 p.m. How was I holding up? "I don't know," I said honestly. "I don't think I know anything anymore." "You know he stole from you. That's enough for now." After we hung up, I sat there for another hour. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't think. Just sat. Around 11:30, my phone buzzed. Sarah. Text. "Margaret told me she found him. Motel on Route 9, room 117, 30 miles out. I thought you should know." My hands started shaking again. He was there, right now, 30 miles away, in a motel room, probably on his phone, probably gambling, probably destroying what was left. I could go there, right now, knock on the door, demand answers, make him look at me, make him see what he'd done. I grabbed my keys, drove, Route 9. 32 minutes in the dark, every mile thinking about what I'd say, how I'd confront him, what words could possibly explain $200,000. The motel was old, paint peeling, neon sign flickering, vacancy in red letters, the parking lot half empty. His car was there. I recognized it. The silver Honda, The one I'd helped him buy 6 years ago when his transmission died. $15,000. My money. Again. Room 117. Ground floor. End of the building. Light visible under the door. He was in there, awake, maybe gambling, maybe panicking, maybe planning his next move. I parked, turned off the engine, sat there, my hands on the steering wheel, gripping, knuckles white. The heat still running even though the car was off. March, cold outside. That particular cold that's not quite winter, not quite spring, just raw. I could see the door from here, 15 feet away, just walk over, knock. He'd open it, he'd see me, he'd have to face what he'd done. But then what? He'd apologize, say he was sorry, promise to fix it, promise to change, promise to get help. Just like he'd promised Sarah. Just like he'd probably promised himself 1,000 times. And I'd want to believe him. That's the terrible part. I'd see his face, my son's face, the boy I raised. And I'd want to believe every word. I'd already done that for 42 years. Believed, trusted, given, sacrificed. Where had it gotten me? I opened the trunk. The photo album I'd brought from home. I'd grabbed it this morning, thinking I'd show him, remind him who he was, who we were. I pulled it out, sat in the driver's seat with it in my lap, opened it, the first page, Michael in the hospital, 2 hours old, wrapped in a blue blanket, my first baby, before Tom was born, before Richard came into our lives, just me and Michael, 22 years old and terrified and so in love with this tiny person. Next page, Michael, age 3. Richard's wedding to me. Michael in a little suit. Ring bearer. That serious face he made when he was concentrating, trying so hard to do everything right. Michael, age 5. First day of kindergarten. Gap-toothed smile. Missing his 2 front teeth. Backpack almost as big as he was. Michael, age 8. Little League. The game where he hit his first home run. I found the picture. There he was. Bat connecting with the ball. You could see it in the photo. The exact moment. His face. Pure joy. I remembered that day. June. Hot. I sat in the bleachers with other parents, wearing shorts and a t-shirt, sunscreen on my nose. Richard couldn't make it. Working late, but I was there. Always there. Michael rounded the bases. First, second, third, home. His teammates mobbing him. But he looked for me, found me in the stands, that huge gap-toothed smile, waved. I stood up, cheering, crying happy tears. My boy, my sweet boy. After the game, he ran to me, sweaty, dirty, grass stains on his knees. Did you see, Mom? Did you see? I saw, honey, I saw everything. He hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. 8 years old, smelling like dirt and sweat and childhood. I love you, Mom. I love you too, baby, always. Always. I turned more pages. Michael, age 12. Middle school graduation. Michael, age 16. Prom. Nervous smile. Date beside him. Jessica something. I couldn't remember her last name now. Michael, age 18. High school graduation. Standing between me and Richard, his arms around both of us, his whole life ahead of him. Michael, age 22, college graduation, that picture on my fridge, the one I'd looked at this morning, cap and gown, that proud smile, my arm around his shoulders, the degree I paid for, the future I bought him. When did always become until? When did my sweet boy who hugged me after baseball games become a man who stole my future? I closed the album, slowly, carefully, like it was fragile, like it might break. I got out of the car, opened the trunk, put the album back, under the emergency blanket, behind the jumper cables, covered it, closed the trunk, locked it. I stood there in the parking lot, looking at room 117, the lights still on, him still in there, 15 feet away. I wasn't saying goodbye to my son. I was saying goodbye to believing love was enough, to believing sacrifice meant security, to believing his family justified everything. He was still my son, but I was still a person, and persons don't let people steal their survival. I got back in the car, started the engine. I didn't knock on room 117, didn't even walk toward it. I drove away. 42 years since I held him in the hospital, 25 years of sacrifice. And here I was, choosing between my son and my survival. There wasn't really a choice. On the drive back, I passed Lincoln Park, the park where I took Michael when he was little. The swings, the slides, the baseball field in the distance. I used to push him on the swings. Higher, Mommy, higher. I'd coached his t-ball team when he was 6, after his dad, his birth, father, left. Before Richard. I was mom and coach and everything. Taught him to throw, how to hold the bat, how to run the bases, every Saturday morning, spring and summer, for 2 years, until Richard came into our lives and took over coaching, better at it than I was. But I'd been there first, building those memories, creating that foundation. I didn't look at the park now, kept my eyes on the road, on the lines in the middle, on forward. The past can't change, only the present can. I kept driving. When I got home, it was almost 1 a.m. I checked my phone, a voicemail, Julia Chen's office, confirming my appointment tomorrow, 9 a.m., bring all documentation. I went to my laptop, created a new folder. Legal action, Michael Morrison. Copied everything from the evidence folder, organized it. Bank statements in one subfolder, credit reports in another, emails, loan applications, phone records, advisor notes, everything documented, everything ready. I wasn't begging anymore. I was building a case. At 1:30 a.m., I got in bed, didn't sleep, just lay there, staring at the ceiling, Richard's side still empty, always empty now. Some nights I still reached for him, forgot for a second. Tonight I was glad he wasn't here, glad he couldn't see what his stepson had become, what his wife was about to do. At 7 a.m. I got up, showered, got dressed, navy blue pants, white blouse, the blazer I wore to parent-teacher conferences, the one that made me look professional, authoritative, armor again. I made coffee, actually drank it this time, ate toast even though I wasn't hungry, going to need energy today. At 8:30, I loaded my car, the folder with all the documents, my purse, my phone, my resolve. Julia Chen's office was in the professional complex downtown, 3rd floor, suite 302, elder law specialist. The sign on the door was small, tasteful, dark blue letters on frosted glass. I sat in my car in the parking garage for 5 minutes, hands on the steering wheel again. This was it. Once I walked through that door, this became official, real. There would be lawyers, legal action. Maybe police eventually. Michael's life would change, forever. But mine already had. The moment he took that first $50,000, my life changed. My future ended. I was just catching up. I grabbed my folder, got out of the car, took the elevator to the 3rd floor, walked down the hall, found suite 302, deep breath, opened the door. A receptionist smiled at me. Ms. Morrison? Yes. Julia's ready for you, right this way. Julia Chen's office was warm, comfortable. Bookshelves full of legal texts, a desk with papers organized in neat stacks, 2 chairs across from her. She stood when I came in. Linda, please sit. She gestured to the chairs. Can I get you water? Coffee? No, thank you. I sat, put my folder on my lap, my hands on the folder, grounding myself. Julia sat across from me. She was younger than I expected, late 40s maybe, kind, eyes. Professional, but not cold. Margaret told me a little about your situation, she said, but I'd like to hear it from you, in your own words. Take your time. So I told her, all of it. The money, Michael, the gambling, the credit cards, the house attempt, the lawyer applications, Robert's calls, Sarah's tears, the motel room I didn't knock on. I told her about the photo album, about choosing to drive away, about deciding I needed help, real help, professional help. I told her I didn't want to destroy my son, but I couldn't let him destroy me either. Julia listened, took notes, didn't interrupt. When I finished, she looked at me. This is elder financial abuse, she said. Textbook. You have a very strong case if you want to pursue legal action. What are my options? She listed them. Criminal charges, civil lawsuit, mediation, each one with consequences, each one changing everything. What do you recommend? I asked. That depends. What do you want? I thought about that. What did I want? I wanted my money back, wanted my future back, wanted the last 2 weeks to disappear, wanted my son to be the boy in those photos, the one who hugged me after baseball games, the one who said, "I love you, Mom," with grass stains on his knees. But I couldn't have any of that. I want to be safe, I said finally. I want what's left protected. I want him to never be able to do this again. Julia nodded. Then let's start there. She pulled out papers, explained the process, revoking power of attorney, putting protections in place, building a case, documenting everything. This is going to be hard, she said, the hardest thing you've ever done, but you're not alone. I'll be with you every step. I looked at her. This woman I'd just met, this professional who was offering to fight for me, to protect me, to help me protect myself. For the first time in 2 weeks, I felt something other than panic. I felt like maybe, just maybe, I was going to be okay. Julia Chen called 3 days after our first meeting. I filed the revocation of your power of attorney with the county. All your banks have been notified. Michael no longer has access to your accounts. How long does it take to... It's done. Effective immediately. Done. Just like that. 3 years of giving him access. 30 seconds to take it back. What's next? I asked. We wait. I've sent Michael a letter informing him of the revocation and outlining your legal options. He has 2 weeks to respond. 2 weeks. More waiting. That night, Michael called. My phone screen lit up. Michael Morrison. I stared at it. Let it ring. Voicemail. I listened to the message. Mom, his voice cracked, broken. Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm checking into rehab tomorrow. New Horizons Recovery Center, Pennsylvania. 90 days inpatient, I promise. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to pay you back every penny. Just don't press charges, please. Give me a chance. I stood in my kitchen, phone in hand. That voice. My son. My boy. Wanting to believe. Always wanting to believe. I called the facility. New Horizons Recovery Center, Pennsylvania. The receptionist was polite. I'm sorry, ma'am. We have no one by that name registered for admission. Can you check again? Michael Morrison, 42. He said he's checking in tomorrow. I've checked. No reservation, no intake scheduled. I hung up, sat down at the kitchen table. Another lie. Even now, even after everything, still lying. 2 days later, Tom called. My other son. The accountant, the steady one. Mom, I heard what happened. Sarah told me, I'm so sorry. You knew? Not about your money. I knew about the gambling. Michael called me last week, asked to borrow $50,000, said it was for business expansion. I said no. My chest felt tight again. He called you? Yeah, used the same story. Investment opportunity, needed capital fast. I told him I'd think about it. Then I called his boss, asked about the business expansion. His boss had no idea what I was talking about. Tom had protected himself, had verified, had said no. I should have warned you, Tom said, but I hoped he wouldn't. It's not your fault. I'm loaning you $50,000, not a gift, a loan. You'll pay me back when you can. Tom, I can't. You already taught me everything I know. This is payback, $50,000. I'll have it transferred today. I cried. Finally. After 2 weeks of holding everything together, I cried on the phone with my son, the one who didn't steal, the one who helped. Julia called again Friday. Linda, I need to tell you something. Your credit report shows a loan application we missed. Predatory lender, $60,000. Your name as cosigner. Forged signature. Another one? They're calling it valid, threatening collection action, but I've filed fraud claims. We'll fight it. How many more? How many loans, cards, applications had he made with my name? Also, Julia said carefully, I found the reverse mortgage application. He tried to borrow against your house. $125,000. I know, I saw that. Linda, if that had been approved, he would have needed you to move out or sign over the deed. This wasn't just theft. This was planning. Planning. To make me homeless. To take my house. The house Richard and I bought. The house I raised my kids in. What kind of person does that? I asked. Julia was quiet then. Someone very sick or very desperate or both. That weekend, Margaret came over, brought casserole, chicken and rice, comfort food. How are you holding up? I don't know anymore. We sat on my porch, biscuit at our feet, spring coming. You could feel it, that particular warmth in the air, things growing again. My sister pressed charges, Margaret said, against her son, 15 years ago, hardest thing she ever did. What happened to him? 2 years in prison, lost his job, his wife left. When he got out, he went to rehab, real rehab, got clean. Been sober 9 years now, has a kid, married again, works construction. Does he talk to your sister? No, he sends her $50 every month. Repayment. But they don't talk. She saved his life by saying no, but she lost her son. I looked at Biscuit. He was snoring. Dogs make everything simpler. Is it worth it? I asked. Saving them if you lose them? Margaret thought about it. I don't know, but I know my sister sleeps at night now, knows she did the right thing, even if it hurt, even if it still hurts. Monday morning, Sarah called, her voice shaky. Linda, the bank is foreclosing. 3 missed mortgage payments. We have 30 days to vacate. Oh, Sarah. I didn't know he wasn't paying the mortgage. He said he was handling it. I thought... She started crying. My kids are going to be homeless. Where will you go? My parents. They have room. Barely. But we'll manage. Emma and Jack, moving to their grandparents' house, leaving their home, their rooms, their school, maybe, because of choices they didn't make. I'm sorry, Sarah. I wish I could... I'm not asking for money, she said quickly. I know you can't. I just wanted you to know that this is affecting all of us, not just you. After we hung up, I sat with that. Emma and Jack losing their house, Sarah losing her marriage probably, Michael losing everything, and me losing $200,000, losing trust, losing the belief that family meant safety. But I still had my house, still had my pension, still had Tom, still had Margaret bringing casseroles. I was losing things, but I was still standing. Julia called Tuesday. Michael's agreed to mediation, next week, Wednesday, 2 p.m., my office. Are you ready? What happens at mediation? You'll both be there, with attorneys. We'll present evidence. He'll have a chance to respond. We'll try to reach a settlement. And if we can't, then we discuss criminal charges, elder abuse, identity theft, fraud. This is his chance to make this right, or at least try to. I hung up, looked at my calendar. Next Wednesday, 2 p.m., the day I'd confront my son with everything he'd done, the day he'd have to look at me and admit it all, or lie again. He was good at lying. I spent the week organizing, every document, every email, every transaction, every lie documented in black and white. By Tuesday night, I had everything ready. 57 pages, evidence, proof, truth. I barely slept that night. Just lay there thinking about tomorrow, about seeing Michael's face, about hearing what he'd say, about whether any words could possibly explain $200,000. Wednesday, 2 p.m., Julia Chen's conference room. I arrived 15 minutes early. Julia met me in the lobby. Linda, ready? No, but I nodded anyway. The conference room was small, professional, a long table, chairs on both sides, a window overlooking the parking lot. I could see Michael's car down there, silver Honda. He was here. David Park, the mediator, arrived first, mid-50s, calm demeanor. shook my hand. "Miss Morrison, thank you for coming." Then the door opened. Michael, with a lawyer I didn't recognize. Young guy, cheap suit. Michael looked terrible, thinner, unshaven, dark circles under his eyes. He wouldn't look at me. Sat down across the table, hands folded, staring at the table. My son. Right there. The first time I'd seen him in 3 weeks. I felt nothing. That was the strange part. Expected anger, tears, something. But I just felt empty. David opened his folder. "We're here to discuss the allegations of financial elder abuse against Michael Morrison. This is a voluntary mediation. Both parties have agreed to participate. Let's begin with Ms. Morrison's attorney presenting the evidence." Julia stood, slid a folder across the table to Michael, to his attorney, to David. 6 withdrawals from Linda Morrison's IRA account over 14 days, $200,000 total, all authorized by power of attorney that has since been revoked. She showed the bank statements, the highlighted lines, the dates, the amounts. Michael stared at the papers. His lawyer took notes. "Additionally," Julia continued, "we have evidence of identity theft. 2 credit cards opened in Linda's name without authorization, combined balance of $30,000, 7 loan applications using Linda as co-signer with forged signatures, and an attempt to secure a reverse mortgage on Linda's property." She slid more documents across. Credit reports, loan applications, the reverse mortgage paperwork with my forged signature. Michael's hands were shaking now. I could see it from across the table. David looked at Michael. "Mr. Morrison, do you dispute any of this?" Michael shook his head. Barely. Just a tiny movement. "We'd like to call a witness," Julia said. "Robert Kim, Ms. Morrison's financial advisor." Robert entered. I'd asked him to come, to testify. He sat at the end of the table, looked at Michael, then at me, apologetic. David asked him to explain what he saw. "I manage Linda's accounts," Robert said. "Have for 10 years. When I saw the first withdrawal, $50,000, I called her cell phone immediately. Michael answered, said Linda was out of the country, asked me not to bother her. I called twice more over the next week. Same story each time." "Did you believe him?" David asked. "I had no reason not to. The POA was valid, he had authorization, but—" Robert looked at me. I should have tried harder. Should have insisted on speaking directly to Linda. "I'm sorry." Julia thanked him. He left. Then Tracy from the bank. She confirmed the withdrawals, the POA on file, the branch visits for cash withdrawals at 2 in the morning. "Did anything seem unusual?" David asked. "The timing," Tracy said. 6 large withdrawals in 2 weeks. That's unusual. But legally, we had no grounds to block them. The POA was properly filed. We had no indication of fraud. After Tracy left, David looked at Michael. "Mr. Morrison, would you like to respond?" Michael's lawyer leaned over, whispered something. Michael shook his head. "I want to say it," Michael said, his voice hoarse, broken. "I need to say it." He looked at me. Finally, for the first time since sitting down. "Mom, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I waited. That wasn't enough. Sorry wasn't enough. "The gambling started small," he said. "Sports betting apps, just for fun. $20 here, $50 there. I thought I could control it." He took a breath, shaking. "Then I lost big, $70,000 last January. I thought, one big win and I'd pay it all back, before anyone noticed." Julia's voice, cold. "When did you first access your mother's account?" "February. I took $50,000. Thought I'd win it back in a weekend. Pay it back before she checked her statements. But you didn't win it back." "No. I lost it, so I took more. Kept thinking the next bet would be the one, the next game, the next win." His lawyer tried to stop him, put a hand on his arm. Michael shook it off. "It's not just the $200,000, Michael said. The room went quiet. Julia leaned forward. "What do you mean?" The credit cards in her name. 30,000. She's liable for those. Julia nodded. We know about those. And the loan. The predatory lender, 60,000. I forged her signature as co-signer. They're threatening to come after her. My chest felt tight. We knew about that too, but hearing him say it. And Michael's voice broke completely. I emptied the kids' college funds, the 529 accounts, 40,000. It's gone. Sarah. She didn't know. I realized she didn't know. He'd taken his own kids' college money. Total damage? Julia asked, her voice flat, professional. Michael looked down. $330,000 across 3 people. $330,000, not $200,000. $330,000. The room was silent, just the hum of the fluorescent lights overhead. And the reverse mortgage application? Julia asked. Michael's face crumpled. I tried to take out a reverse mortgage on Mom's house, $125,000. They denied it because there's no existing mortgage. But I was going to convince her to move in with Tom, then use the equity to pay off my debts. I stood up, walked to the window, looked out at the parking lot, at his car, at the normal world outside where people weren't sitting in conference rooms learning their sons tried to make them homeless. You were going to make me homeless, I said, quiet, back still to the room. I didn't think of it that way, Michael said. I thought, you were going to steal my house. Silence. I turned around, looked at him. Is that everything? No more surprises? Michael nodded, then stopped. Last week, I stood on the Route 95 bridge for 2 hours, looked down, thought about jumping. Sarah gasped. From somewhere. I realized she was there, in the corner. When did she come in? Why didn't you? I asked. Too much of a coward. Couldn't even do that right. Julia opened another folder. Mr. Morrison, do you have a substance abuse issue? Have you sought treatment? I called the gambling hotline twice. Couldn't make myself actually go to a meeting. I'm weak. I'm pathetic. I don't know who I am anymore. He was crying now, fully, shoulders shaking. His lawyer looked uncomfortable. I felt something. Not pity exactly. Recognition, maybe. He was sick. Truly sick. Not evil. Just broken. But broken people can still destroy you, David spoke. Ms. Morrison has several options: criminal charges for elder abuse, identity theft, and fraud, civil lawsuit for financial recovery, or we can negotiate a settlement here. Michael's lawyer cleared his throat. My client is willing to enter treatment. 90 days inpatient, verified. He'll surrender all financial documents, accept full responsibility, begin repayment. Repayment with what? Julia asked. He has no assets, no savings, a job he's about to lose. He can commit to payments, $200 a month. It's all he can afford. I did the math. 200,000 divided by 200 per month. 83 years. I'd be dead. He'd be 125. But it showed commitment, showed he was trying. Julia slid papers across to me. Settlement terms. Michael enters 90-day verified treatment at New Pathways Recovery Center, Pennsylvania. Surrenders all financial documents, passwords, accounts to Sarah. Power of attorney permanently revoked. Documents filed with county. No contact with Linda for minimum 1 year. Repayment plan, $200 per month beginning after treatment. Linda forgives credit card debt legally. Can't recover anyway, removes her liability. Criminal charges reserved. If Michael violates any term, Linda can pursue felony elder abuse charges. I read it twice. David looked at me. Ms. Morrison, this is your decision. No one can make it for you. When the mediator read the settlement, I didn't feel triumphant. Just tired, relieved, but mostly tired. This wasn't victory. This was triage. I looked at Michael, broken, crying, barely recognizable as my son. Then I looked at the folder Julia had given me this morning. Evidence. 57 pages. Every lie, every theft, every betrayal documented. I'd brought one photo from my purse. Michael, age 5, holding my hand at the park, gap-toothed smile. I put it on the table, facing him. "This is who you were," I said. "Figure out who you want to be." I picked up the pen, signed the settlement, slid it across to Michael. He signed, hands shaking, tears falling on the paper. His lawyer signed as witness. David signed. Julia signed. Done. I stood, walked to the door, Julia beside me. Behind me, Michael's voice, broken. "Mom, I love you. I'm so sorry." I stopped, hand on the doorknob, didn't turn around. "I know," I said. Then I left. In the parking lot, Julia walked me to my car. "You did the right thing," she said. "Why doesn't it feel right?" "Because love doesn't have an off switch, even when it should." I sat in my car, didn't start the engine yet, looked up at the conference room window, 3rd floor, Michael still up there, probably still crying. I drove away, didn't look back, not once. 1 week after mediation, Michael checked into New Pathways Recovery Center. Sarah sent me a text with a photo of the intake paperwork, proof, real this time. I called the facility myself, verified. Michael Morrison, 90-day program, gambling addiction specialty. "Can you provide updates?" I asked. "Only to approved family members." "I'm his mother, but I don't want updates. I just needed to know he's actually there." "He's here, ma'am." I hung up, sat at my kitchen table. First time in 3 weeks, I'd actually felt like I could breathe. I met with Robert, my financial advisor, 3 days later. "Let's look at the damage," he said. Opened his laptop. IRA account. $80,000 remaining. Was $280,000. $120,000 lost to theft. Wait, no, $200,000. I kept getting the numbers confused. $80,000 left, Robert said. "That's your retirement fund now." Credit cards. Both fraud disputes successful. Capital One forgave the debt. Chase forgave the debt. My credit score dropped to 620 but would recover over time. Predatory loan. Julia filed fraud papers. Lender backed off. No valid signature meant no enforceable debt. "Your house is safe," Robert said. "Deeds secure. No liens. No loans against it." Social Security, $1,800 per month. Teacher's pension, $1,200 per month. Total income, $3,000 per month. Expenses, property tax, utilities, insurance, groceries, $2,200 per month. Tom's loan repayment, $500 per month. Remaining, $300, discretionary. No Italy trip, no new car when mine dies, no restaurant dinners, library books instead of buying them, garden vegetables instead of grocery store produce. Tight, very tight, but survivable. "You'll be okay," Robert said. "Won't be easy, but you'll make it." Margaret came over that Thursday with tomato plants. "Garden therapy," she said. "We're planting." We spent 2 hours in my backyard, digging, planting, staking, 6 tomato plants, basil, peppers, zucchini. "My nephew sends my sister $50 every month," Margaret said while we worked. "Repayment will take forever, but he does it every month like clockwork." "Do you think Michael will?" "I don't know, but the trying matters. Shows character, even if it takes 80 years. Margaret's hands in the soil, my hands in the soil, working together, building something. "Thank you," I said, "for everything. The lawyer referral, the casseroles, just being here." That's what friends do. Sarah brought Emma and Jack to visit 2 weeks after mediation, just for an hour, supervised. Sarah stayed. Emma hugged me, tight. "Grandma, I missed you." "I missed you too, sweetie." Jack showed me his school project, a diorama about the solar system. "I got an A," he said. Proud smile, gap-toothed, like his father at that age. My heart hurt, but in a different way now. After the kids played in the yard, Sarah pulled me aside. "Thank you," she said quietly, "for the boundaries. Michael's therapist says, boundaries are love too. I never understood that before. Neither did I. We're separated, legally. I filed papers. The kids and I are living with my parents. I'm working 2 jobs. It's hard, but we're okay. And Michael? He writes letters. To me. To the kids. His counselor helps him. He's working through things. Whether we reconcile, I don't know yet. Maybe someday, if he stays clean. She looked at me. You saved him. By saying no. His therapist said that too. Sometimes love means letting people face consequences. After they left, I sat on my porch, watching the street. Margaret walked by with Biscuit, waved, kept walking. Our daily ritual restored. Julia Chen called the next week. Quarterly check-in. How are you? I'm okay, actually okay. Credit report? Checked it yesterday. Score's climbing. 680 now. POA? Tom has limited power of attorney. Specific accounts only. Requires dual signature for withdrawals over 5,000. I learned my lesson. Estate planning? Meeting with David next week. Updating my will. Tom's executor. Everything goes to Tom with stipulations. And Michael? I thought about that. If he's clean 5 years, verified recovery, he gets family heirlooms, photos, my grandmother's china, his grandfather's watch, no money, no property, just memories. That's fair, Julia said. That's really fair. 1 month after mediation, I finally opened the photo album, the one I'd locked in my trunk, brought it inside, sat at the dining table, opened it, all those photos, Michael's life, my life, our history together. I pulled out 3 dividers, labeled them. Section 1, past, birth through age 22, who he was. Section 2, present, empty pages, space for his recovery. If it happens, Section 3, future, Emma and Jack's photos, their drawings, their school pictures. Legacy continued, lessons learned. I placed the album on the shelf. Next to it, the estate planning documents in a folder. Protection for them, for what comes next. My dining table. Budget spreadsheet open on laptop, bills organized in folders, financial recovery tracked in green cells, mostly green now, a few red, manageable. Life smaller than I planned, but mine. 3 months after mediation, Margaret and I harvested the first tomatoes, made bruschetta together, ate on my porch while Biscuit slept in the sun. You did good, Margaret said. I survived. That's more than good. That's everything. That night, I got an email from the treatment center, monthly update I'd approved after all. Michael, completed 90 days, moving to sober living house, working warehouse job, $18 an hour, attending Gamblers Anonymous meetings, sending first payment next week, $200 first payment. He was trying. Whether it lasted, time would tell. But he was trying, and I was surviving. Both things could be true. 8 months later, November, 8 months since I sat at my kitchen table and saw $80,000 where $280,000 should have been. Morning routine, coffee at 7, crossword puzzle. Actually, finish it now. 4 across doesn't stump me anymore. Budget spreadsheet open on laptop, green cells, a few red, manageable. The garden through the window, empty now, end of season. But we got good tomatoes this year. Margaret and I, enough for sauce, for bruschetta, for sharing with the neighbors. Michael's still in the sober living house. Pennsylvania, works warehouse night shift, $18 an hour. Sarah says he's doing well. Monthly updates, brief, factual, boundaried. He's attending meetings, sees the kids twice a month at my parents' house, supervised. He's trying. Trying. That's all we can ask. The payments come. Every month, like clockwork. $200, direct deposit. Will take 83 years to repay $200,000. I'll never see most of it, but he sends it anyway. Tom paid off his loan to me last month. $500 a month for 6 months. $3,000 total. I told him it was a gift. He insisted on repaying. You gave me everything, Mom. This is just interest. That's Tom. Steady, reliable, present. The photo album sits on my shelf now, 3 sections, past, present, future. The middle section has one new photo, Michael at 90 days, sobriety chip. Sarah sent it. I printed it, put it in the album. One photo, not redemption, just progress. Emma's doing well in 5th grade, Jack's in 3rd, my grade. The grade I taught for 35 years. Sometimes Sarah sends me his homework. Can you check this? Like old times. Life's smaller than I planned. Italy's not happening. The restaurant on the coast Richard talked about. That's gone. But I have book club Thursdays, coffee with Margaret Saturdays, my garden, my porch, my house, still my house. Last week I met with David, my estate attorney. Updated everything, will, trust, medical directives, Tom's executor. Everything goes to Tom with instructions. Emma and Jack's college funds, $5,000 each now, $100 a month ongoing, protected in 529 accounts. Trust structure. Michael can't touch them. Michael's in the will conditionally if clean 5 years, verified recovery, therapy completed. He gets heirlooms, photos, grandma's china, grandpa's watch, his own childhood drawings I saved. No money, no property, just memories. I also wrote letters, 2 of them, sealed, to be opened when Emma and Jack turn 18. The letter says, "Dear Emma and Jack, if you're reading this, I'm gone. But I wanted you to know some things. Your father made mistakes, big ones, mistakes that hurt people, hurt me, hurt your mom, hurt you, even if you didn't know it then. But people are more than their worst moments. Your father was sick. Addiction is a sickness. It doesn't excuse what he did, but it explains it. I chose to protect myself, set boundaries. Not because I didn't love him, because I did. Love doesn't mean letting people hurt you. Love means protecting yourself so you can be there for the people who need you, like you two. You have college money because I protected it. You have a grandmother who loved you enough to say no when saying yes would have destroyed everything. Remember, family is important, but you're important too. Both things can be true. Never let anyone, even family, take your security, your future, your peace. I love you both. Always did. Always will. Grandma Linda. 120 words. My voice, my wisdom, my love. The letters are with David, in my will file. They'll get them when they're old enough to understand. Someone asked me last week if I forgive Michael. I don't know yet. Maybe forgiveness comes later, after more time, after more proof, after 5 years clean, after 10, after he's proven it wasn't just 90 days, that it was real. Right now, I'm just surviving. And honestly, that's enough. The money's gone. That hurts. I won't lie. I think about Italy sometimes, the coast, the restaurant, the life Richard and I planned, but I'd rather be broke than broken. Some days I still look at Michael's childhood photos. That little boy, gap-toothed smile, holding my hand at the park. I see him, I love him, I grieve him. But I also see my bank account, my budget spreadsheet, my green cells. And I know which one I can protect now. It's not cruel, it's just true. Thursday nights, book clubs at my house. Margaret brings wine, Dorothy brings dessert. We just finished The Kite Runner. No coincidence, that title. Redemption, betrayal, fathers and sons. We talked about it for 3 hours. Saturday mornings, coffee at Main Street Cafe. Just us ladies, Margaret, Dorothy, Carol, and me. Talking about everything. Talking about nothing. My phone buzzes. Margaret. Coffee in 10. Dorothy's buying. I grab my jacket, my purse, my keys. Life goes on, with witnesses. If you're listening to this and you've trusted someone with your finances, maybe given them power of attorney, maybe co-signed a loan, maybe just believed them when they said they'd handle things, I want you to know something. Trust is beautiful. Family is important. Helping the people you love is natural, but you matter too. If something feels wrong, it probably is. If you're seeing red flags, pay attention. If someone's asking for money again and again, that's a pattern. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to set boundaries. You're allowed to protect yourself, even from family, especially from family sometimes. It's not selfish, it's survival. I'm 70 now, starting over. It's hard. Some days I'm angry, some days I'm sad, some days I'm just tired, but I'm here. I have my house, my garden, my friends, my other son, my grandkids, my future. Smaller than I planned, but mine. And that's enough.